The View is off the air, finally.
It was just another ordinary day in the world of celebrity gossip, until everything changed in an instant. Out of nowhere, the FBI launched a high-stakes, no-nonsense raid on the estate of none other than Whoopi Goldberg. Yes, you read that right. The legendary Whoopi, an EGOT-winning Hollywood powerhouse, suddenly found herself in the middle of a jaw-dropping, high-profile investigation that has everyone talking. But what on earth were they looking for? And how does this shocking turn of events connect to the tangled and sinister web of secrets tied to Jeffrey Epstein's dark legacy? Get ready, because this story is about to take a wild turn. Now, picture this. A fleet of sleek black SUVs and unmarked vehicles rolls up to Goldberg's massive estate under the eerie silence of dawn. Neighbors in the area couldn't believe their eyes as armed law enforcement agents swarmed the property with laser-sharp focus, moving like they were on a mission that couldn't wait another second. What could possibly be hiding behind those gates? Eyewitnesses described the scene as something straight out of a high-stakes crime thriller. Federal agents in dark suits, some carrying heavy-duty evidence cases, others equipped with cutting-edge forensic gear, stormed through the grand gates of Whoopi Goldberg's luxurious estate with military precision. Every move was calculated. Every corner was searched. It was clear. They weren't leaving empty-handed. But why would the FBI zero in on Goldberg of all people? A Hollywood legend, an outspoken force on The View, a trailblazer with decades in the spotlight. What could they possibly be after? The questions only got more chilling when whispers from inside sources started leaking about what the agents were really looking for, and what they found. According to swirling rumors in the chaotic aftermath, agents uncovered a stash of items so shocking, so unexpected, that it sent speculation into overdrive. Stacks of classified-looking documents, a cache of electronic devices, and the most cryptic revelation of all, what one insider chillingly described as extremely sensitive material that had the power to expose long-buried secrets. But secrets about who and what? The moment news of the raid broke, whispers turned into a tidal wave of speculation. Was this somehow tied to the still unraveling, sinister legacy of Jeffrey Epstein? For years, Epstein's name has cast a dark shadow over Hollywood, politics, and the elite circles of power. His notorious client list remains one of the biggest unsolved mysteries, fueling endless theories. But now, the question on everyone's mind: did the FBI uncover something inside Whoopi Goldberg's estate that linked her, directly or indirectly, to Epstein's murky web of secrets? The mere suggestion sent social media into an all-out meltdown. From the plausible to the outright mind-blowing, theories ran wild. Some believed Goldberg might have unknowingly come across damning information about Epstein through her deep Hollywood connections. Others feared she had been swept up in a much bigger operation, one aimed at bringing down high-profile figures in entertainment and politics. But the real question remains: what exactly did the FBI find? While officials have refused to spill any details, leaks from those close to the investigation have hinted at discoveries that are as chilling as they are game-changing. Something big is brewing, and the world is watching. Allegedly, what the agents uncovered inside Goldberg's estate could be nothing short of explosive. Among the seized items? A collection of handwritten notes and private correspondence. Documents that might hold the key to understanding Epstein's connections to some of the most powerful figures across multiple industries. If these notes reveal even a fraction of what people suspect, this could be a game changer. But that's not all. The most chilling discovery? A series of encrypted files found on electronic devices confiscated from Goldberg's home. Cybersecurity experts believe these files could contain earth-shattering revelations, but cracking the encryption won't be easy. Until then, the contents remain locked away, an unsettling mystery just waiting to explode. And then things took an even stranger turn. According to a highly placed source, agents also retrieved a handful of personal items that left investigators scratching their heads. Described as curiosities, these objects weren't just bizarre. They might have symbolic or even coded meanings. But what do they represent? And more importantly, who were they meant for? The exact nature of these mysterious items remains a closely guarded secret, but their mere presence has only deepened the suspense surrounding the raid. Was Goldberg knowingly in possession of something damning? Or had she unknowingly stumbled into a much bigger and more dangerous web of secrets? The public was left reeling, desperate for answers. As the story took on a life of its own, all eyes turned to Whoopi Goldberg herself. How did she react to this shocking and very public invasion of her private world? Reports confirm that Goldberg was home when the raid unfolded, and according to sources, she was visibly shaken as federal agents moved through her estate with unwavering focus. So far, she has remained tight-lipped, refusing to make any public statements about the ordeal. But behind the scenes, insiders claim she's in deep discussions with her legal team, weighing her next move carefully. Of course, her silence has only added more fuel to the raging firestorm. Some see it as a glaring sign of guilt, proof that she knows more than she's letting on. Others believe she's simply in a state of utter shock, blindsided by a nightmare she never saw coming. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. This story is far from over. One thing is undeniable. The raid has cast a massive shadow over Whoopi Goldberg's legacy. A woman known for her fearless, no-nonsense approach to tough conversations now finds herself at the center of a scandal that has gripped the public like never before. Predictably, her critics wasted no time seizing the moment, questioning her integrity and demanding explanations. But her loyal supporters? They've come to her defense, urging caution and calling for patience until the facts come to light. The divide in public opinion couldn't be more stark. Some insist on a fair investigation, while others are demanding immediate answers. And the media? They're in an all-out frenzy. Major news outlets have been running non-stop coverage, scrambling to outdo one another with exclusive insights and so-called expert analysis. Meanwhile, the tabloids have taken a wild turn. Headlines like, "What was Whoopi hiding?" and "Hollywood's darkest secret exposed" are splashed across front pages, feeding the firestorm of speculation. Social media, of course, has been completely taken over by the chaos. Every new leak, every whispered rumor, every unconfirmed detail gets dissected by millions, fueling a digital circus of theories. Some plausible, some downright unhinged. The big question remains: what's the real truth behind this shocking raid? And will Whoopi ever be able to clear her name? But the shockwaves from this story aren't just hitting the media and the public. Hollywood itself is rattled. Goldberg's peers? Dead silent. The industry, usually quick to rally around its own, is treading carefully. Too carefully. It's as if no one wants to get caught in the fallout of whatever this investigation might uncover. But a few voices have broken through the silence. Some have come to Whoopi's defense, calling her a trailblazer, a woman of integrity who deserves the benefit of the doubt. Others, however, have taken a more cautious approach, stressing the importance of due process and refusing to take sides. Hollywood, already rocked by back-to-back scandals in recent years, is bracing for impact. Because if there's one thing that's clear, it's that something big is brewing. And then there's the real question on everyone's mind. What does this mean for the broader Epstein investigation? Could the materials seized from Goldberg's estate be the missing puzzle piece that investigators have been desperate to find? If so, the consequences could be massive. The Epstein saga has always been wrapped in secrecy, full of unanswered questions about the true scope of his network and the real power players who were involved. But if this raid has brought investigators even one step closer to cracking that code, Hollywood, and beyond, might not be ready for what comes next. The potential fallout from this discovery is monumental. If the evidence seized from Goldberg's estate truly holds the kind of secrets people are whispering about, the consequences could ripple far beyond her, exposing names and details that no one ever expected to see dragged into the light. And now, as the dust settles, one thing is absolutely certain. This story is far from over. The FBI's raid on Whoopi Goldberg's estate has cracked open a Pandora's box of terrifying questions. What exactly did they find behind those walls? How deep does this rabbit hole go? And most chilling of all, how does it really connect to Jeffrey Epstein's dark and tangled network? But perhaps the biggest question of all, what does this mean for Goldberg's future, and for the futures of those who may still be lurking in the shadows, waiting for their names to surface? With so many unanswered questions, and so many powerful figures potentially caught in the crossfire, all the world can do now is watch and wait. But here's where things take a darker, more mysterious turn. Whispers are growing louder that the evidence seized in the raid could implicate not just Goldberg, but other high-profile individuals as well. If that's true, then what started as one shocking raid may just be the beginning of something much, much bigger. Could this be just the beginning? Could the raid on Whoopi Goldberg's estate be the first domino in a much larger, far-reaching investigation? The possibilities are endless, and the stakes, they couldn't be higher. Buckle up, because this story is about to take an even wilder turn. And just like that, the FBI raid on Whoopi's estate became the epicenter of a storm no one saw coming. What started as a shocking, isolated event has now spiraled into something far bigger, something that has Hollywood, the media, and the entire world on edge. Everyone is holding their breath, waiting for the next bombshell to drop. But if you thought the initial findings were shocking, think again. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning of a rapidly unraveling narrative, one that could send shockwaves far beyond the gates of Goldberg's sprawling mansion. The implications? Massive. Not just for her career, not just for her legacy, but for everyone connected to this tangled web of secrets. Because if the whispers are true, more high-profile names could be dragged into the spotlight very soon. And when that happens, there's no telling just how deep this rabbit hole really goes. First, let's talk about the fallout, because for Whoopi, the timing couldn't be worse. For years, she's built a reputation as one of Hollywood's most fearless, unfiltered voices, a powerhouse in both the entertainment industry and daytime television. But now, this raid has thrown her entire career into serious jeopardy. Can she really continue holding her spot at The View, a show built on bold opinions and hard-hitting discussions, while she's under this kind of intense scrutiny? Behind the scenes, insiders are already whispering that ABC might be rethinking her position. The show thrives on its panelists calling out others and holding them accountable. But how can Goldberg keep playing that role when she's the one caught in the middle of a firestorm? And it's not just the network weighing its options. Advertisers and sponsors are reportedly watching very closely. Some major brands are uneasy about their association with Goldberg, with concerns that the growing cloud of suspicion around her name could start affecting their image as well. If the pressure mounts, could we see The View forced to make a major shakeup? One thing's for sure, Whoopi's future in the spotlight has never been more uncertain. So far, no official moves have been made. But in Hollywood, these kinds of rumblings often signal bigger decisions just waiting to drop. And let's not forget, Whoopi's influence stretches far beyond television. She's a household name, an icon of the big screen, with legendary roles in The Color Purple and Sister Act. Could this controversy put her future film opportunities at serious risk? It's the question everyone is asking. But here's where things get even messier. Whoopi isn't just a celebrity, she's an activist. She's built her brand on being outspoken, on fighting for causes she believes in, from social justice to environmental issues. But now, the optics of this situation could shatter her credibility in those very spaces. How do you stand for truth and accountability when you're caught up in an investigation this massive? It's a dangerous line to walk, and so far, Whoopi's silence is doing her no favors. Her fans are waiting, desperate for her to speak up, to explain what's happening, or at the very least, to acknowledge just how serious this situation has become. But with every passing day of silence, one thing is clear. This controversy isn't going away anytime soon. But until Whoopi breaks her silence, the speculation will only grow louder. Every unanswered question fuels more theories, and the longer she stays quiet, the more people wonder, what is she not saying? Now, let's zoom out, because this isn't just about Whoopi Goldberg anymore. This raid has cracked open a much bigger conversation about who else could be caught in the crosshairs. The Epstein saga has always been wrapped in secrecy, a never-ending mystery filled with whispers and half-truths. For years, there have been rumors of a so-called client list, a roster of powerful figures allegedly tied to Epstein's web of influence. Politicians, business moguls, Hollywood elites. But no one has ever seen the full picture. Could the materials seized from Goldberg's estate finally pull back the curtain? Some insiders believe the FBI may have found something huge, a missing link that could connect the dots in this high-stakes investigation. And the latest whispers, that this raid was just the beginning. Word is, the FBI is now widening its scope, digging deeper into the entertainment industry and beyond. If that's true, then Whoopi may not be the only one under scrutiny. More names could surface, more careers could be at risk, and if the right pieces fall into place, this could be the moment when the Epstein puzzle finally starts to make sense. If that's the case, Whoopi's estate might just be the first domino to fall. And if it is, imagine the shockwaves that could follow. We're not just talking about a scandal here. This could be the unraveling of an entire system, one filled with complicity, secrecy, and cover-ups stretching far beyond Hollywood's glittering surface. Because, let's be real, Hollywood has always had its share of scandals, each one peeling back another layer of its polished facade. But this could be something bigger. What makes this situation even more explosive is the possibility that the evidence seized doesn't just incriminate people, it could implicate organizations. Think about it. Epstein's connections weren't just limited to celebrities. His influence stretched into the highest levels of finance, politics, and even philanthropy. If the materials found in Goldberg's estate hold any concrete ties to these sectors, it could set off a chain reaction of investigations and long overdue accountability. This isn't just a Hollywood scandal, it's a global one. And as expected, the media frenzy has reached an absolute fever pitch. Every major news outlet is locked in, running wall-to-wall coverage, scrambling for exclusives, and dissecting every shred of new information. The world is watching, and with so many questions still unanswered, one thing is for certain. This story is far from over. Every shred of new information is being dissected, analyzed, and spun by so-called experts, each one offering their own take on what this could really mean. But, as with any high-profile scandal, the line between fact and wild speculation is getting dangerously blurred. Some reports claim the evidence includes encrypted emails and private correspondence that could expose shocking new details about Epstein's operations. Others suggest Goldberg may have unknowingly come into possession of highly sensitive materials, possibly passed down to her by a third party without her realizing the full weight of what she had. At this point, it's anyone's guess, but one thing's for sure, the lack of clarity isn't stopping the rumor mill from running at full speed. If anything, it's feeding the fire. And of course, social media is an absolute battlefield. Hashtags linking Whoopi to Epstein have been trending nonstop, with people from all walks of life jumping into the chaos. Some are defending Goldberg, arguing she's being unfairly targeted in a high-stakes game of power and distraction. Others are convinced this raid is just the tip of the iceberg, the first crack in a scandal far bigger than anyone imagined. With theories flying in every direction and no clear answers yet, the tension is only escalating. And as for Whoopi, the world is still waiting for her to break her silence. Could this be a case of mistaken identity? A massive overreach by law enforcement? Some believe Whoopi is being unfairly targeted, swept up in something far bigger than herself. But not everyone is feeling sympathetic. Critics are calling for her immediate removal from the view, demanding answers, and questioning whether she had any real involvement in this murky saga. The debate has gotten so intense that it's ignited larger conversations about cancel culture, about the fine line between accountability and public shaming, and about whether a career as legendary as Goldberg's should be erased over allegations that still haven't been fully explained. But beyond the public fallout, there's an even bigger question. How is this affecting Whoopi's standing in Hollywood? In an industry where reputations can rise or fall overnight, will her colleagues stand by her? Or will they quietly step away to protect their own careers? So far, the response has been a mixed bag. Some of Whoopi's longtime friends and collaborators have publicly defended her, describing her as a woman of integrity, someone who would never knowingly entangle herself in anything remotely unethical. But others? They've stayed dead silent. No public statements, no social media support. Nothing. And in a town like Hollywood, silence can speak volumes. Could it mean they know something the public doesn't? Or are they just playing it safe, making sure they don't get dragged into a controversy that's growing bigger by the day? Whatever the case, one thing is certain. This story is far from over. One of the most fascinating angles in this unfolding drama, the role of Whoopi's co-hosts on The View. The show thrives on tough conversations and heated debates. But how will they handle a controversy that's now right at their own table? Will they dare to address the raid on air, confronting the storm head-on? Or will they choose to avoid the topic entirely, hoping to ride out the chaos in silence? Either way, their reaction, or lack of one, will say everything about the group's dynamics and just how much this scandal is shaking the foundation of the show. And then there's the legal side of things, perhaps the murkiest part of it all. So far, the FBI has remained tight-lipped, refusing to make any official statements about the nature of the evidence or what it could mean for Whoopi, or anyone else who may be involved. But here's what legal experts do know. A raid of this magnitude isn't done on a whim. It suggests that law enforcement believes the evidence they've uncovered is substantial.
What that really means, though, remains a mystery. But if the FBI is treating this as seriously as it seems, then Goldberg, and possibly others, may be facing something far bigger than just public scrutiny.
If charges do come down, whether against Whoopi Goldberg or anyone else connected to the seized materials, it could trigger a legal showdown that grips the nation for months, maybe even years. The fallout from this could be seismic. But even as the speculation swirls, critical questions remain unanswered. What was the FBI really looking for when they stormed Goldberg's estate? How did these materials end up in her possession in the first place? And the biggest question of all, how does this connect to the still unfolding Epstein investigation? The truth could reshape everything we thought we knew about one of the darkest and most infamous scandals of our time. Now, as the dust settles on this bombshell revelation, we're left with more questions than answers. Can Whoopi Goldberg's career and legacy survive the storm? How deep does this web of secrets really go? And who else might be dragged into the spotlight next? One thing is for sure. This story is far from over. What do you think? Could this be the scandal that finally unravels the truth? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And remember, stay locked in, because the next chapter in this explosive drama could break at any moment. Until then, stay tuned for more breaking news and celebrity bombshells.